Have you ever looked at a machine and wondered where the limit is? How big can a machine become before it stops feeling like equipment and starts feeling like an entire city made of steel? Over the last century, engineers have pushed those limits further than most people could ever imagine. They have built machines taller than buildings, longer than football fields, heavier than warships, and powerful enough to move mountains, carry rockets, and transform entire landscapes. In today's countdown, we are exploring the 10 biggest machines ever built by humans. You'll see excavators with wheels larger than houses, mining trucks capable of carrying hundreds of tons in a single trip, and engineering giants so massive they can be mistaken for industrial complexes from miles away. But as incredible as those machines are, none of them compare to the unbelievable giant waiting at number 1. A machine so enormous that it outweighs entire fleets of ships and operates like a floating city in the middle of the ocean. So sit back and prepare to witness some of the largest, most powerful, and most astonishing machines ever created. Let's begin with number 10. Number 10. Bagger 258. The giant that eats mountains. Most excavators are designed to dig. The Bagger 258 was designed to reshape entire landscapes. Built in Germany for massive open-pit coal mines, this colossal machine weighs more than 13,000 tons and stands nearly 100 feet tall. To put that into perspective, its weight rivals multiple fully loaded freight trains combined. At the front sits a gigantic rotating bucket wheel, continuously carving through layers of soil and rock. Unlike traditional excavators that work one scoop at a time, the Bagger 258 operates almost non-stop, moving thousands of tons of material every hour through a network of conveyor belts stretching throughout the machine. Its purpose is simple but critical. Remove the enormous layers of earth covering valuable coal deposits. Without machines like this, mining operations would require entire fleets of trucks and excavators working around the clock. What makes the Bagger 258 truly remarkable is that despite its immense size, it can slowly crawl across the mine on giant tracks. Watching it move feels less like watching a machine and more like watching a steel city come to life. The craziest part? The bucket wheel alone is larger than many houses. Yet, as massive as the Bagger 258 is, it's only the beginning. Because the next machine on our countdown can scoop enough material in a single pass to make this mining giant look surprisingly modest. Number 9. LeTourneau L-2350. The world's largest wheel loader. What if a single scoop could carry more material than many dump trucks? That's exactly what the LeTourneau L-2350 was built to do. Recognized as the largest wheel loader ever built, this mining giant weighs over 260 tons and stands taller than a 2-story house. Its enormous bucket can hold more than 40 cubic yards of material in a single load, enough to fill an average garage from floor to ceiling. Designed for the world's largest mining operations, the L-2350 has one mission: load gigantic haul trucks as quickly as possible. Every minute saved means more ore moved, more efficiency, and millions of dollars in productivity gains over the life of a mine. Powering this beast is an engine producing well over 2,000 horsepower. That's the equivalent of combining the power of dozens of family cars into a single machine. When the bucket drops into a pile of rock, it doesn't simply scoop. It bulldozes through material that would stop ordinary equipment in its tracks. One of the most incredible facts about the L-2350 is that a single tire stands taller than most adults. Each tire costs tens of thousands of dollars, and is engineered to support crushing loads every day. But even this record-breaking loader isn't large enough to reach the upper half of our list. Because next, we're looking at a machine so enormous that its tires alone look like small buildings, and it can carry hundreds of tons in a single trip. Number 8. Bucyrus MT6300AC. The truck that carries a house. Most trucks are built to haul cargo. The Bucyrus MT6300AC was built to move mountains. At first glance, it looks almost impossible. Standing over 25 feet tall and weighing hundreds of tons, even before it's loaded, this mining truck is among the largest haul trucks ever created. Its payload capacity exceeds 360 tons, roughly the weight of several fully loaded Boeing 747 aircraft combined. Built for the world's biggest mines, the MT6300AC transports massive quantities of rock and ore from excavation sites to processing facilities. Every trip saves time, reduces costs, and keeps mining operations running around the clock. The scale is difficult to comprehend until you see a person standing beside one of its tires. Each tire is taller than most homes' ceilings and weighs several tons by itself. Climbing into the cab requires ascending a staircase that feels more like entering a building than a vehicle. Power comes from a diesel-electric system generating thousands of horsepower. Instead of a traditional drivetrain, electricity helps transfer that immense power to the wheels, allowing the truck to move staggering loads across rough mining terrain. Perhaps the craziest fact is that a fully loaded MT6300AC can weigh well over 600 tons. That's more than many naval vessels and enough weight to crush ordinary roads instantly. Yet even this giant truck isn't the largest machine on our countdown. Because next, we'll meet a machine so powerful that it doesn't haul rock away. It tears directly into the earth itself. Number 7. Caterpillar 6090FS, the excavator, built to dominate mines. What if an excavator could scoop up the weight of a house in a single bite? That's the reality of the Caterpillar 6090FS. Built for the world's most demanding mining operations, this colossal hydraulic excavator weighs nearly 1,000 tons and stands as one of the largest machines Caterpillar has ever produced. Park it next to a suburban home, and the house would look surprisingly small beneath its towering boom. Its mission is simple: load giant mining trucks as fast as possible. But unlike ordinary excavators, the 6090FS operates on a completely different scale. Its massive front shovel can move more than 50 tons of material in a single pass. That's roughly the weight of a fully loaded semi-truck lifted in one scoop. Power comes from engines producing thousands of horsepower, feeding a hydraulic system strong enough to move enormous amounts of rock with astonishing precision. Every swing of the shovel represents tons of earth being transferred in seconds. The economic impact is just as impressive. In large mining operations, every minute of downtime can cost thousands of dollars. Machines like the 6090FS help move millions of tons of material each year, making them some of the most productive pieces of equipment on Earth. And here's the crazy part. One bucket load can fill the bed of a standard construction dump truck several times over. Yet, as gigantic as this excavator is, the next machine isn't just bigger, it's a legendary American giant whose bucket was so enormous that people compared it to a small house. Number 6. Big Muskie, the machine with a bucket bigger than a house. Some machines become famous, others become legends. Big Muskie belongs in a category all its own. Built in the United States in the 1960s, this enormous dragline excavator was created for one purpose: removing vast amounts of earth to expose coal deposits buried deep underground. At the time, it was one of the largest land vehicles ever built. The numbers were almost unbelievable. Big Muskie weighed approximately 13,500 tons and stood taller than many office buildings. Its boom stretched hundreds of feet into the air, creating a silhouette that dominated the Ohio landscape for miles. But the real star was its bucket. Capable of holding around 220 cubic yards of material, the bucket was large enough to park 2 full-size school buses inside. Every scoop removed massive amounts of earth, allowing mining operations to reach coal deposits far more efficiently than traditional equipment. Powering this giant required an enormous supply of electricity, delivered through a massive trailing power cable. Unlike modern mining machines that rely heavily on diesel engines, Big Muskie consumed enough power to rival a small town. Perhaps the craziest fact is that after decades of operation, its bucket was preserved as a monument. Today, visitors can still stand inside it and appreciate just how absurdly large this machine really was. Yet even Big Muskie wasn't the largest mining structure ever created. Because next, we're moving to a machine so long that people often compare it to a horizontal Eiffel Tower stretching across the landscape.
Number 5. Overburden Conveyor Bridge F60. The horizontal Eiffel Tower. At some point, calling something a machine almost feels wrong. The Overburden Conveyor Bridge F60 looks less like a piece of equipment and more like a moving steel city. Built in Germany for massive open-pit coal mines, the F60 is one of the largest mobile industrial machines ever constructed. Stretching more than 500 meters, over 1,600 feet, it is longer than 5 football fields placed end-to-end. In fact, many people call it the horizontal Eiffel Tower because of its immense size and steel framework. Its job is surprisingly simple. Move enormous amounts of overburden, the layers of soil and rock covering valuable coal deposits. Instead of relying on fleets of trucks, the F60 continuously transfers material using a network of conveyor belts running through its gigantic structure. The scale is hard to comprehend. Weighing over 13,000 tons, the machine slowly crawls across mining sites while transporting thousands of tons of earth every hour. Workers inside often travel significant distances just to move from one section of the machine to another. The economic impact was enormous. By replacing countless truck trips, the F60 dramatically reduced operating costs and improved efficiency in some of Europe's largest mining operations. The craziest fact? One retired F60 is now a tourist attraction, and visitors can actually walk across sections of the structure like a giant steel bridge suspended above the ground. Yet, despite its incredible length, the next machine on our list was built for a completely different mission. Instead of moving Earth, it was designed to move rockets.
नासा के बारे में हर कोई जानता है, जो एक बहुत बड़ा स्पेस रिसर्च ऑर्गेनाइजेशन है.
The machine that carries rockets. Most vehicles.
कभी आपने सोचा है कि नासा
जब भी नासा कोई रॉकेट बना करके तैयार कर लेता है तब उसे लॉन्च करने के लिए 6
Did you know that the NASA crawler transporter is one of the largest?
Built during the Apollo era, this incredible machine is designed to carry some of the most valuable and powerful spacecraft ever created, from the assembly building to the launch
नासा के जो भी स्पेसक्राफ्ट और रॉकेट्स होते हैं उन्हें असेंबली बिल्डिंग से
futuristic, but it remains one of the largest tracked
रॉकेट्स
vehicles
बनाते हैं, उसे
ever built.
मैन्युफैक्चरिंग की जगह से लेकर लॉन्चिंग की जगह तक कैसे
किलोमीटर दूर
Each
लॉन्चिंग पैड
crawler
तक ले जाने की जरूरत
transporter
होती है और
weighs
इसी काम
around
को
2,700
This massive
tons
machine
on
is
its
used to
own.
transport
Combined
ever
weight
built.
can
This
exceed
massive machine
18 million pounds. That's heavier than thousands
लॉन्च
of
पैड पे
pickup
लाया
trucks
जाता है.
combined.
आज हम उसी मशीन के बारे में
Its
देखेंगे.
purpose is critical. Rockets are extremely
कर जाते हैं.
delicate,
दरअसल इन
despite their
हजारों
immense
किलो के
power.
रॉकेट्स का ट्रांसपोर्टेशन
Moving
करने
them
पूरा
even a
करने के
few
लिए
miles
1965 में
requires
नासा के द्वारा बनाई गई थी.
stability.
rockets and spacecraft
The
from
crawler
vehicle
travels at
assembly
a
building.
walking while
used to
carrying
carry
cargo
rockets from
worth
the assembly
billions of
building to the
dollars.
launch pad.
Power comes from massive diesel engines that generate
जो इसे
electricity for
ट्रांसपोर्ट करता
traction
है.
motors
नासा
mounted
क्रॉलर
throughout the
ट्रांसपोर्टर.
vehicle. Despite its enormous size,
Its top
के लिए
speed
नासा ने
with a
नासा
rocket on
क्रॉलर
board
ट्रांसपोर्टर
is
नाम
only
का एक
about
मशीन
1
To the
mile
launch
per
pad.
hour.
The crawler
The
transporter
craziest
weighs about
carried astronauts toward
2,700
the moon
tons and moves
rode
incredibly
to the launch
slowly.
pad on a crawler transporter. Decades
ये
later,
मेगा मशीन जिसका
modified
कि नाम है
versions
क्रोलर
continue
ट्रांसपोर्टर। ये
supporting
क्रोलर
some of the world's
इस
most
मशीन को
advanced
स्पेशली
space
स्पेसक्राफ्ट
missions.
ट्रांसपोर्ट करने के लिए बनाया
But
गया
even a
है।
machine capable of carrying rockets isn't large enough for the top
बनाया
three.
है और इसी मशीन के जरिए इन
Next,
रॉकेट्स का ट्रांसपोर्ट
we're about to enter
ट्रांसपोर्टर
a
रॉकेट्स
category
को
of
मैक्सिमम
machines
1.6
so
किलोमीटर पर आवर की
gigantic
स्पीड तक
they
40
seem
meters,
impossible
131
to
feet in
build
length
at
and
all.
35 meters.
Only about
And
1 mile
taller
per hour
than
when
many
carrying a rocket.
skyscrapers.
But
Number 3. Bagger 288. The machine
The
that
Bagger
can eat a
288 is a
mountain.
bucket wheel excavator. The Bagger
What you're looking at
288 is a
isn't a
bucket wheel
factory.
excavator.
It isn't a building. And it isn't a moving
इस
city.
मशीन का नाम बेगस 288 है।
इंसानों द्वारा बनाई गई ये है दुनिया की सबसे बड़ी
बैगर 288 दुनिया का सबसे बड़ा व्हीकल है। इस व्हीकल
bucket wheel excavator so enormous that it completely changes your sense of scale.
288 ये 40,000 लोगों का काम अकेले कर सकती है।
Scale mining operations. This engineering
On your
marvel
screens is the
stands
largest
nearly
rotary
100
excavator.
meters
The
tall
ये बड़ी
and
मशीन सिर्फ
stretches
एक
more
दिन
than
में 40,000 मजदूरों
220 meters in length, longer than 2 football fields placed end to end.
This is the Bagger 288, the largest land vehicle on the...
Remove vast quantities of earth to expose valuable
Did you
coal
know that the
deposits
world's
below.
largest
At the front, a gigantic rotating wheel fitted with massive buckets continuously
that is
tears
used in
into the
open pit
ground,
mining. It is
feeding
the largest
material
that is
onto
used in
conveyor
open
belts
pit mining.
that run
It is the
throughout the
largest
machine. The numbers are difficult to believe.
इसका इस्तेमाल
Weighing
जमीन के
roughly
ऊपर खुदाई के लिए किया।
मशीन जिसका नाम है बैगर 288 जिसका वजन
की हाइट लग
can move hundreds of thousands of cubic feet of material every
और इसे
single
जर्मनी
day.
में बनाया गया था। इसे
Work
बनाने
that
में
would
7
normally
अरब
require dozens of excavators and trucks can be handled by
largest
this
self-propelled machine
single
in the
machine.
world. Bagger
के बराबर काम
Powering such
करती
a
है जो एक
giant
दिन में
requires a
10,000
constant supply of electricity, turning it into something closer to a mobile industrial complex than
Planet, built in
traditional
1978
heavy
by the German company Krupp.
The craziest fact?
excavator is the
When the
Bagger
Bagger
288.
288 needed to relocate between mining sites, roads, railways, and even rivers had to be specially
vehicle in the
prepared
world,
for its
and it
journey.
is so big that it
The
has its
move
own
took
weather.
तकरीबन 15,000 टन तक है वैसे तो ये मशीन सिर्फ माइनिंग के लिए
यूज किया जाता है और इसकी
This
कोई
mechanical monster isn't the biggest machine,
रुपए का खर्च आया
nowadays,
था। नंबर 2 पर है
because
नासा की
next comes its even larger successor, a machine
288,
so
which is
massive
also the
it earned a
absolute
place
record
in the
holder.
record books as one of the largest moving
It is
land
315
structures
feet tall,
ever created.
stretches...
Number 2. Bagger 293, the largest land machine ever built. Just when it seemed impossible to build anything larger than the Bagger 288, engineers did exactly that. Meet the Bagger 293. Widely recognized as one of the largest land machines ever constructed, this colossal bucket wheel excavator represents the absolute limit of what humanity can build and still make move. Standing over 315 feet tall and stretching nearly 740 feet in length, it is taller than the Statue of Liberty and longer than 2 football fields. Its mission is the same as its predecessors: remove enormous layers of earth to expose coal deposits hidden beneath the surface. But the Bagger 293 performs that task on an even greater scale. Weighing approximately 14,200 tons, this giant continuously excavates material using a bucket wheel equipped with massive steel scoops. Day and night, it feeds endless streams of earth onto conveyor systems that transport the material away. The power required is extraordinary. Instead of relying on conventional engines, the machine consumes massive amounts of electricity, operating more like a moving industrial plant than a vehicle. What makes it truly remarkable is efficiency. Despite its unbelievable size, it can move hundreds of thousands of cubic feet of material every day, while requiring a surprisingly small operating crew compared to the work it performs. The craziest fact? The Bagger 293 is so large that from a distance, people often mistake it for an industrial complex rather than a machine. Yet it slowly crawls across the landscape under its own power. For decades, many believed nothing on Earth could surpass this giant. But the machine at number 1 isn't just bigger. It's heavier than entire fleets of warships, longer than the tallest skyscrapers are high, and so massive that it can be seen from miles away at sea. And unlike every machine we've covered so far, it doesn't work on land at all.
Number 1. Prelude.
Displacement floating structure ever created by humans at 488 meters
ever built. When most people think of the biggest machines ever built, they imagine giant excavators, mining trucks, or massive cranes.
FLNG, the largest floating structure ever built by humans.
We're the largest floating facility ever built. It's so enormous that it pushes the definition of a machine to its absolute limit. Floating off the coast of Australia, this engineering giant is the largest movable structure ever created by humans.
The Prelude FLNG
the scale
represents
is
a
almost
bold
impossible to comprehend. Stretching nearly 1,600 feet in length, Prelude is longer than 4 football fields, Celsius, which shrinks the gas volume by 600 times. It would tower above many of the world's tallest skyscrapers. Fully loaded, it weighs around 600,000
बाहर हो जाए तो अपने आसपास के पूरे समुद्री इलाके को.
Yet this isn't a ship designed to transport cargo.
Brian will never live on Prelude, so to inspect the very
built onto
and
a
what
floating
this is
platform.
a safety device.
Its purpose
if there's any
is
issue,
revolutionary. Instead of extracting natural gas and transporting it to land,
it's revolutionary,
Prelude
pushing the boundaries.
The job of the subsea team. It extracts, processes,
Es
cools,
ligeramente más
stores
pequeña,
and loads
pero en
liquefied
esencia
natural gas
similar.
This is
directly
Prelude,
from one of
Shell's
the most
first
remote
floating
energy
LNG
fields on Earth.
Imagine
The power involved
an entire
is staggering.
natural gas.
243
Millions of homes
feet
can
or
ultimately
74
benefit
meters
from the
wide.
energy produced through
And the blocks
operations
turned
like
into the
this.
hull.
To withstand
So measuring
powerful
nearly
cyclones
half a
and
kilometre
harsh
long
ocean
and
conditions,
weighing more than
the structure was engineered to
200,000
survive
tonnes
some
of
of the
gas
most
to meet the
extreme
needs of a city
environments on the
larger than
planet.
Hong Kong.
The craziest fact, workers living aboard Prelude often compare it to a floating city. It contains living quarters, industrial
After
facilities,
18 million
storage
hours
systems,
बल्कि असल में
processing
तैरता
plants,
हुआ natural
and enough
gas का
equipment
plant
to
है,
operate
जहाजों की दुनिया.
continuously for years.
The elevator
offshore.
only reaches the main
And
deck.
that's what makes Prelude
On the seabed,
FLNG
each pile is
the
65
ultimate winner
meters
of this
long,
countdown.
with a diff, the steel
Because while
used
other
to
machines
build
move
Prelude
mountains,
FLNG
carry
is
rockets, or reshape landscapes, Prelude
Floating
combines the
liquefied
scale
natural
of a
gas
mega
plant, which
factory,
now sits
the
in the middle of the
complexity of a
oceans of
city,
up to 20
and the
meters.
weight of an entire fleet of ships into a single floating machine.
Akan memberikan jawaban
The biggest
mengapa mereka
machine
membangun
ever
kapal
built
itu.
isn't on land. It's floating in the middle of the ocean. From giant excavators that can devour mountains, to trucks capable of carrying hundreds of tons, to a floating machine larger than most people thought possible. These incredible creations prove just how far human engineering can go when size, power, and ambition come together. What amazed you the most? Was it the record-breaking Bagger 293, the legendary Big Muskie, or the unbelievable Prelude FLNG at number 1? Let us know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this journey through the biggest machines ever built, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss our next countdown, featuring even more incredible engineering giants from around the world. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.